I mean, I saw the comment and it is such a great one. And I so appreciate it for a number of reasons. I mean, first of all, he didn't take offense. And the same thing goes for if you're a younger guy looking to meet an older woman. It's about attracting an older woman, not running out and snaring one.
Jackie Somerville, how are you?
Hi, darling. I'm well. How are you?
It's so great to come back to our podcasts.
I know we're going to do them every week from now on. I'm excited. People are
Oh,
enjoying
you
them.
say that, but who knows?
I
The
know we
busy
are.
woman that you are,
It's
sometimes
it's a
we
commitment,
lose them.
darling.
I know the problem is we have such great telephone conversation. We're like, oh, that should have been a video.
I know it's true. We miss out so much. Anyway,
It's
we're here
so funny,
now.
but I want to congratulate you on completing your online course, which I know you put a ton of work and hours, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't been doing these podcasts. So congratulations.
Thanks, darling. Yeah, I've been busy writing and creating with the help of zero AI whatsoever, I'm proud to say. An online course for younger men who wanting to date older women. Because as you know, I get tons of questions about this on my YouTube channel and on Instagram, and young guys want to know more. So I created a course for that, and yes, it's been my commitment for the last few weeks. I've been or months dedicated to it. It's got video modules and PDF downloads and all sorts of great things. And I know we're going to talk a bit more about magnetism probably today, but it's all about how does one become a more magnetic human being so that you get lucky. Like it's all about
Yeah,
how you get lucky, you know?
exactly. Nowadays, we have to preface everything where AI was not used, and
Yeah.
then we have to go to getting lucky, like the two big important things of this century, right?
I know, because I mean, no one wants to really spend hours grinding away on something.
So,
Uh,
oh, did you see that, everyone? She tied in Grinder to this whole conversation to make all her gay followers like interested. Yes, we don't want to
anyway,
grind. You're right. Okay,
we want the
so
outcome to be getting lucky. That's what I'm
you know what?
saying.
Yeah, and there's a comment that I read on one of your posts. I don't know if you've seen it, but as we get into the conversation about magnetism, and I'm just pulling it up on my trusty little iPad from 19 whatever. Time for a new iPad. Okay, so listen to this comment. It was one day ago. I'm older than you, but boy, did I need to hear what makes a magnetic personality, i.e., not dwelling on the past. You hit me right between the eyes. My thank you, thank you, thank you. My magnet has been stuck on the negative pole. It's time to reverse my challenge or reverse my charge. I'm 66 but far from dead. This video was a wake up to action, but that was from a man, So you're. It's funny because your whole premise is, or one of the premises of that's made that video like skyrocket on YouTube is, older women, younger men, and this is an older man, and you're resonating with him, even though that's not exactly what you were aiming for when you first started and talked about, some of your personal experiences with older women, younger men.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the comment and it is such a great one. And I so appreciate it for a number of reasons. I mean, first of all, he didn't take offense, which shows a mature, emotionally mature human, right? He didn't take offense like, oh, I'm older and she prefers younger. And what's wrong with us older guys, which some people have done. And so, huge kudos to him for that. The second reason why I love the comment is here's a person saying, hold on a second, this is showing me that I've been doing something that's not serving me, and how can I do better to live a better life? How can I take responsibility for my role in all of this? That's what he's doing. He's saying, wow, I've been stuck in the negative, and all the while that's what's causing me grief in my dating life. What an amazing observation, and what a mature human. So I'm really excited about it. And I truly believe in my soul that this man is going to turn his luck around because of his attitude. And so, anyway, I just loved it for all of those reasons, because I explain in my Why I Prefer Younger Men video that it's not so much about age, it's about attitude. And here's this guy who's getting that. He's that the penny dropped for him on that subject. So it's about attitude. It's about how do you be a more irresistible human? Because not only are you going to get lucky in the world of dating and sex, but you're going to have other successes in life as well by working on yourself. It's all from within. I mean, nobody wants to hear this when they think all the problems will be solved when they finally get laid or meet the right person or whatever. But it's all from within, even this stuff.
Yeah, no, I think it's really powerful. And that's why I think it's kind of exciting that you've got the online course available. So you mentioned a little bit about it, but maybe can you tell us more? Like how much is it? Why I should do it? What's in it for me? Like all the things people care about. Because I know you worked really, like in all seriousness, you worked really hard, long and hard. And when I listen to you, I always get a lot of great advice, and I think that the YouTube videos and the especially the one on the older women, younger guys have had so many views. So tell me why, Jacquie?
Well, look, I mean, I'm not here to really sell the course, as it were, but
I know, but I want you to.
I created the course because there's such a need, because I get asked a million times, like, where do I meet them? How do I do it? How do I become more attractive to older women? And so I thought, well, great, I will create. It's a mini course, so it's very reasonably priced, and it requires maybe 3 or 4 hours of dedicated time, perhaps a little longer, to complete. And it's got work attached to it, because, as I just said, it's about becoming the person. It's not about running out and finding somebody. It's about becoming the person that attracts what you are desiring. And the same thing goes for if you're a younger guy looking to meet an older woman. It's about attracting an older woman, not running out and snaring one.
Right.
Anyway, so the whole basis of the course is built around, number one, the very first attraction factor. I mean, what is the number one thing listed by both men and women that they find sexy? It's confidence. Right. Across the board, no contest, always confidence. So this course is really designed to help people to grow their own confidence so that they are naturally more attractive to others. And are there practical little things one can do to do that? Yes. And the course goes through them all. So somebody can really make tiny tweaks in their life to have a huge impact on what they start attracting. And I also go into really practical things like, what does a woman want? What does an older woman want? What is she looking for? What turns her on? What's going to get her interested in you? So there's that. I even actually have some bonus PDFs about online dating, because oh Lord, are there ever some terrible bios and stuff out there, and people don't know how to play that game using apps. I'm no expert on the really long-term ones, but the apps I'm really
the quick hits you're good at.
I'm good at the quickies.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's there to help a guy who wants to date older women. It's quite simple. And if they do the stuff, yes, they'll have success if they actually do the work.
The interesting thing, though, is, I read that article or that comment a few minutes ago, and then just by talking, and it's, I know where it's geared towards, and I know that you touch on specifically what the needs, wants, and desires of an older woman, and how younger guys can kind of go down that path, but it works for a lot of people who just want to feel better about themselves and develop a magnetism and a confidence, right? Like it doesn't just, I know that's what it's geared towards, but when I hear you talk and when we talk about it more, it kind of can work for anyone, especially if they like hearing some beautiful woman with a South African accent talking a lot.
Yeah, no, look, Don, and it can definitely help anyone. I mean, as you know, I've studied psychology, personal development, and human behavior, and worked with some of the greatest coaches and teachers in the world for decades. So I have tons of knowledge about what it takes takes to be a confident, magnetic human in general. And I share that knowledge in more of an irreverent, fun way. I share a lot of my stories and so on. So yes, and the other thing is that while the course is geared to help younger men get lucky when it comes to dating older women, there's other things in their life is going to change as a result of it. Because, as I say, the work is on creating you as a better, more irresistible human. So, are there going to be other benefits outside of your dating life? Oh my God, yes. And that to me is super exciting.
Yeah, and you'll have a little bit of fun going through it. So will there be a link on this video that they can link right on to go and purchase it?
Yeah, so in my Linktree link, it's there. So if they just
Okay.
click the link that's under this video or that's on the bio in Instagram, they'll find the link directly to the course.
Okay, cool. The one other thing I was going to mention that I keep thinking about is that because of an article I read today, is that Cher, who's 70 something, I don't want to get the age wrong, but she's up there and she's got the 39-year-old boyfriend. And it's so funny because we've talked before that in the past, it was so often, it was never, you didn't think twice about an older guy with a younger woman. And now all of a sudden you're starting to see the reverse of that, and it's becoming more socially acceptable and more popular as well.
Yeah, completely. And in actual fact, I got a call, a voicemail from somebody that I helped on the other side of it, a woman who has been encouraged by my stories and my teaching and so on to date a younger man. And so she left me this message saying that she just had this incredible date that they'd been sort of dating on and off, but this is the first time she'd invited this much younger guy to her house and cooked dinner for him. And her message to me was, "Thank you, thank you, thank you for your message, for how bold and unapologetic you are," she said, and for shouting it from the rooftops, how empowering it can be to not be so rigid in your dating life and broaden your horizons and try dating younger men and see what happens. And she said to me, these were her words. She said, "Very healing and intimate, and something I've craved since my divorce." And
Hmm.
I thought, yes, I mean, anytime somebody can feel healed and empowered and something that they've been craving since they were divorced, what could possibly be wrong with that? And of course, the younger man also benefited greatly, I'm sure, from their wonderful romantic encounter. And I just think opening up to all the beautiful things that the universe has in store for us. And I like to think of it as love without lists. You know how everybody has lists. This is what I'm looking for. He must be this and that, and she must be that and this. And I just think, God, you're missing out on so much by having these rigid, stupid lists when the universe has got something so empowering and beautiful for you, even if it's only going to last a short period of time.
See, and I think that's such a beautiful message. And I think that's one that you're so great at delivering is that, the old way of looking at a relationship, nothing wrong with it, but it maybe not so practical these days of, getting married to your high school sweetheart and being with them for the rest of your life. And that's the only good life is so false, right? And I think you bring that out all the time, that experiences are the makeup of our being. And, we should have a lot of experiences. So if your list said, date someone over 50 if you're a 50-year-old woman, and there's this great however 30-year-old guy that you might have had not the rest of your life with, but a great few months or 6 months or a year, and had these incredible experiences, and to that comment, like, really helped you get over your past relationships and all of that dirty laundry. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, it's
No.
a blessing.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it goes to the fact that we've talked about this, to each their own, right? Everybody's different. And there's nothing wrong with being with somebody forever. In fact, it's lovely and admirable and
Yeah,
wonderful. But I
yeah.
don't think it's everybody's dharma. And I think that for some of us, we have to experience all these different things to become the person that we finally need to be with the one person that maybe we are going to stay with forever. And if without those experiences, we wouldn't ever be ready. So
Right.
one never knows what the reasons for these things are. But it just makes me think. I'm in the midst of writing my book
Oh
called
yes.
Unleashing. You're right, Unleashing Aphrodite, about how loving or being with younger men released a woman's sexual splendor. And so I'm talking about a lot of my stories with younger men and sharing a lot of them. And it's interesting as I'm writing the stories of my romantic encounters with younger men. That what's really come out of it for me is the power of transitory love, the power that there is. I've always said that even if you have a one night stand or you spend one evening, even if there's no sex involved, with somebody, that there's a very deep connection and it's a very lovely experience, that is love. That who says that love is only love if it lasts for 30 years or 60 years or whatever? That love can be in these beautiful fleeting moments. And as I'm writing these stories, I'm realizing how blessed I am in my life to have experienced some of the most romantic uh, encounters and
And
adventures.
so many of them.
Yes, like quite a few that are so meaningful. Thank you, darling. But
You're
I
welcome.
mean, I'm even writing about encounters with people that I never even kissed, let alone because there was just something that wouldn't let us get together. It was unrequited, but it was so impactful in my life. And so I'm just incredibly blessed that early on, I never, when something ended, I didn't go into the, oh my God, this is the end of the world because my life is over,
Hmm.
because I'm never going to fall in love again.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, divine life, you're showing me something that clearly I'm resisting because I would like for this romance to continue, but it's not able to. Therefore, I got to love it and let it go. And
Hmm.
it's been the most wonderful way to live since I finally let go of the old notion of, oh my God, I got to find the one, I got to find the one, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
And and just how empowering and amazing these encounters have been in my life, that I wouldn't want my life without them. And so I thought, oh God, it's the power of transitory or momentary love that I'm really reminding people of. It can be love if it's 1 hour where you have a deep connection with another human being. It's love, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
And
amazing.
I
You
just
have a
think that just,
good attitude.
well, look, I mean, it's a beautiful way to live in my mind.
Yeah. No, I think more people should learn how to do. I think, we feel like failures if a relationship ends, and I think you're talking about and practicing the exact opposite.
Yeah, and it's not to say that I don't really appreciate commitment. I'm a very committed sort of one man woman. But when life doesn't let something permit it to continue, one has to then go, huh, okay, I get it. It's not that it was a mistake. It's not that it's wrong. It's not meant to continue. And there's such beauty and romance in uncertainty and in letting go and surrendering to life.
Did the French Canadian make it in?
Well, he's not younger.
Oh, I so this is just the younger. Oh, that's why it's actually can be like not like this size book. It can
Oh,
be this size book
yeah.
because we're just doing younger. Okay, got it.
God,
Well, okay.
darling.
So when do we have what? How many books has that been now for you? Is this your fourth?
Well, yeah, but I pulled the third one from publication. It's to
Oh,
be rewritten, but as you know,
but
I pulled
yeah,
that story because it was incomplete.
but yeah. Now you have an ending for that. But so how long do you think before we'll get to see this next book?
Well, I'm really putting my foot on the gas with it right now. So, I don't want to say anything, but I have some pretty strict deadline. Just like I gave myself with the course and I gave myself with the book and the course a very tight deadline, and I made it with the course, and I didn't make it with the book, but that's okay. So now I have to reinstate another deadline for the book.
Okay.
The quicker, the better
Well,
for me, because then I
yeah,
get things
exactly.
done.
So maybe on our weekly podcast that everyone's going to watch religiously, we'll get little updates on the book, and I think it'll be exciting and interesting to see how the course goes because I know I'll buy it since you're not giving me a free one, and just see what I can learn. But I forgot to ask you about your weekend.
Oh, darling. Well, yeah, I had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend, a much needed getaway.
You're big on little getaways.
Yeah. Getaways, I've come to realize just how important they are because you can get so stagnant, especially if you're dealing with some deadlines or some issues at home or some stuff that you stressful situations. It can taking yourself out of your environment into something very different, even just for one night. I mean, gosh, even when we go take our little drives around Southern California, even our day trips can really give us a new lease on life. But this weekend we went up to Santa Barbara and we stayed on a boat in the harbor, which we've done a few times now. And we absolutely love it because it is, well, the boat is lovely and, this full on stateroom and bathrooms and all of that. It's still a little bit like camping. And so there's not a whole lot of room to sort of spread yourself out and hang up your clothes or anything. But it's just lovely. And being out of our home environment was so good for us because we've both been so busy. He's also had things at work, and I've had my deadlines and really pushing it work wise. That our sex life has taken kind of a back seat, which for us is a bit of a shocker.
Hmm.
You know, it's not
I'm
good.
speechless. I don't even know what to say.
And I had just read him this thing a couple of weeks ago that men are supposed to ejaculate at least 21 days out of the month in order to be healthier and reduce their risk of prostate cancer and all of this. And I made the mistake of showing him that right in the midst of our drought, as it were. So every now and again he'd come in when I was deep involved in writing or my course and say, "Baby, can you give me a hand job?"
Oh my God, so romantic.
I know. Anyway, um, so it was so nice again to be out of our environment, away from our work stuff, and so we had lots of sex this weekend, which is always so good for us. So there's that, and we just felt rejuvenated being away for one night. So I said to him, "We've got to do it more often, like at least once a month, go away for." A weekend or even one night to a very different environment. And it doesn't have to be fancy or anything, just get away. And you know something, when couples have slightly challenging adventures together, for example, if a couple goes and takes on a mountain or some sort of adventure travel together where you have to actually work together on some difficult situations, it can really bond a couple together. The communication skills get better. You're now both involved in solving problems or issues that are not the kind of stressful cerebral problems, but physical stuff. And those things are so good for couples as well. So one of the things I want to do is there's an obstacle course with huge zip lines and adult gymnasiums and stuff to challenge you here in Southern California. And that's on my list to do this year.
So another little day trip to get away.
Yeah. With some really big exercise challenges involved.
So you don't always need like a big vacation. You can kind of rejuvenate yourself even just with a day or a weekend.
Yeah, we're driving back from Santa Barbara on Sunday, and he's like, "God, I feel like I've been away. I feel like we've been away for a week." And we did. We felt like that because, as I said, it was a different environment. I mean, you're going from apartment to a boat. It's different environment. You're floating on the water, which feels so lovely, and also we had great gatherings with friends, and that is also wonderful. right? The social element of couple life. I mean, that's tied to longevity and all sorts of health things as well, is if somebody has a healthy social structure and so on. So, me being a bit of a loner, it was really great for me to be in a large group of people enjoying, family gathering on Saturday night with his friends and family. It was great.
Amazing. Sounds great.
Yes, darling. What about your weekend?
My weekend was, gosh, it seems, what day are we? We're away from the weekend now, so it seems like a lifetime ago. Out for dinner. Oh, and a drag brunch on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a huge big deal down here. So lots of people, and it's pretty amazing the performances and the amount of work and what they
Yeah.
do from a costume, makeup, wig, and all of that. And people really get into it. There were hundreds of people. It
Fun.
was very, very popular. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you did that. That's great.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Trainer guy's cousin runs it, has the whole it's a big business because it's like a lot of people, a lot of food, a lot of drinks. Like it's a fun
Do we
time.
call him trainer guy or do we call him by his that he's your husband?
Going to be as of August 3rd that you're officiating.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. And don't forget like the 2 hour dance that you have to perform ahead of time. I can't believe you believe that. Just so everyone knows, that was my April Fool's joke, is Jackie's going to officiate my wedding. And so on April 1st, I sent her a note, very serious voicemail saying, Jackie, just wanted to let you know that part of the Mexican culture is the person that's officiating the wedding does an ancient Aztec dance that's got a number of moves, but I'm sure you have no problem learning them, and did it, and hung up. And little Jackie, as she is, she's like, "Oh, that sounds like fun. I can't wait." Like, oh my God. So option one was to go through and find a crazy dance and send it to her and say, "This is what you have to learn," and really carry this joke forward, or just say, "That was your April Fool's joke," and call it, to bring it to a close. But she was very excited about doing a dance.
I was like, oh, sure. Yeah, if that's what you guys want. Listen,
Yeah,
it's your wedding. I'm willing to participate 100% fully.
didn't she didn't miss a beat. Like she was on it, ready to go, and so my April Fool's joke kind of fell flat. I guess I should have carried it on and sent you a big long dance and see if you kind of were like,
Well, I am excited to officiate your wedding in August, darling. I really am.
well,
I've been
I'm
working on
excited
the
for you.
speeches, on the speech.
I know. I just, for everyone that doesn't know, I went to a wedding last 3 weeks ago of a dear friend who had actually their therapist do the leading the ceremony, which I've never experienced before, and quite interesting because there is someone that knows the two very intimately, right? Like that
Yeah.
knowledge is deep. And so to see her do the ceremony and have it so deep and meaningful was quite something. It was like 27 minutes long, which I'm not saying we want that, but I tried to send it on WhatsApp, but it was a bit too long. But anyways, it was just really beautiful and thoughtful and interesting. I'm like, I have to send this to Jackie.
Yeah,
But
send it to me, but yeah, you'll have to put it in Dropbox or something. But
yeah,
look, I'm definitely not going to speak for 27 minutes.
no, exactly. And I don't expect that. But it was just interesting to see someone go through something like, it was a lot. The one thing we did chat about briefly that we've not done on here is, and it just made me think of it because of, anything in your life, I find you find the positive and take the good out of it. And I think that's a skill more than something that we're born with or innately have, I think. But we talked about, after a great weekend or a day away, it's also possible for us to be a little depressed or feel stuck sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit for people, because I think,
Yeah.
we're all lying if we don't say that we have those moments. I always tell myself in the moment, or try to, I try to take two things. One, the power of now. So I think, don't, if it's something that I'm worrying about the past or stressing about the future, there's no point in either one of those. And then second of all, I always say, oh, it's a chemical imbalance. And once like I eat differently or do whatever, it's all going to be fine. But there's those moments of feeling like, ugh, this sucks.
Yeah, it's such a good point. And in actual fact, I did feel quite a bit of that on Monday. And while I felt rejuvenated on Sunday night, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a great week," Monday dawned, and I got like hit with a truckload of negative emotions. So yeah, look, I think what I teach, and in fact, I have a module on this in the course about how to deal with rejection and heartache. Well, you could say that the same thing applies to how we deal with the blues. And so, the first thing is to realize that everything in life is temporary, and including life itself, actually. And so, what I remind myself of is this too shall pass. This is temporary and it will pass. And this too shall pass is a very powerful mantra for me when I'm feeling dark in any way and can't get out, don't feel like I'm going to get out of it. The other thing is what I think it was the Buddha taught that pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is a choice. So we experience pain. So let's say we're feeling moody or down after a lovely weekend away. Let's just refer to that as pain. It's painful to feel that. But to suffer would be to go, damn, I shouldn't be feeling this way. This is, oh, I need to change this. How do I change? This is so wrong. No one gets to experience this in life. That causes suffering. In other words, surrendering to the feeling and to the pain is a way better way of helping it to pass than going, this ought not to be happening to me. So when someone breaks up, when there's heartache, when there's even just darkness or depression, I don't want to talk about clinical depression. Obviously, we're not. We're talking more about the blues here. That realizing that it's going to pass ultimately, and also that it just is. Don't think this ought not to be happening. All
Right.
life includes some pain, even those who you think are sailing through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible to get through life without those down times, because life wouldn't be worth living if it was all one way. We wouldn't recognize anything. We wouldn't even bother to have a human experience. There'd be no point to it. We'd stay in the ethereal. So it goes with the territory, but struggling against it and wishing it wasn't happening is causing suffering. Surrendering to it, accepting it, and knowing that it's going to pass will help to dissipate it so much quicker. And so don't fight it, but rather deal with it that way. And the same applies for heartache, for rejection, and all of that. You just accept it, you feel the pain, and you let go of it and don't fight against it.
Yeah. And I think you make a good point, because if we didn't it's like, when you're sick, you don't appreciate your health until you're sick. So if you're never sick, if you never get a cold, if you never get a stomach ache, you don't really appreciate your health, right? And then you can take that to all sorts of different levels. So I think the
Right,
same
because
thing
then you don't
goes.
feel joy. Because,
Right.
in order to feel gratitude and all of that, that's how we feel joy. We wouldn't even experience joy if we didn't ever know the absence of it.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's just helpful for everyone to know that um, it's not something that is, just yourself that feels that everyone has days, no matter what they let see, which I always think is very interesting. We all become experts at masking our feelings and our emotions, and, suffer in silence if you were brought up in certain households, and not talk about it and keep it hidden and all of that kind of stuff. And I think it's good just to once in a while acknowledge it and understand that happens to all of us, happens to the best of us,
Mm.
and there's always ways through it, right? And I think you're great at coming up with little tricks, and I know your course has some of those in them as well. But it's just a fact of life, and that we all
It
have
is.
that. And then you learn that the good days are really good because you appreciate it, because you know what it's like to have a bad day.
Yeah. When you said that, we get really good at hiding these things, I think especially for men, I think it's men have been conditioned to not show their emotions, to suffer in silence, to struggle. And so one of the things I absolutely love to do in the one-on-one consultations that I do, and I've been doing some of those with younger men, which has been great. They reach out to me rather than doing an online course. They want to have a conversation directly with me and have me coach them, and it's been wonderful to help them with other things as well, with career, with goals and ambitions, with dealing with struggling. And one of my clients said to me the other day, he's a young guy based in Texas, and he said, it's so cathartic to just be able to talk to somebody about these things who's non-judgmental, who understands, who's not family or friends, and is not a therapist, but is a coach. And that was just so great. I love hearing that when somebody says this has been so cathartic, so helpful. It just fills my heart and makes me realize that what I do makes a difference, and that makes me feel fulfilled and happy. So yeah, it's wonderful to just be there for people and reassure them that it's whatever they're going through is going to pass, and to give them stuff that helps them to feel better in the moment. As you said, the
Hmm.
power of now. How
Yeah.
can we
No, I
feel?
think
How can we just look at this moment?
no, I think that's so true, and I think it's amazing that you have that ability because you have the patience, you have the understanding of the knowledge. But I think it's not always do people need the therapist approach, and I think not always do we feel comfortable talking to family and friends. So I think sometimes it's nice to have that more of a coaching aspect, because I think the other thing that you do is you always seem to turn a negative into finding a way to pull positives out and moving forward, which I think is so important. I think a lot of us will get over a bad day and that's the end of it, but I think you also try to make yourself better each time, which is great.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, even Steve Jobs said, and I think in his famous Stanford address, that it's only when we look back in life that we realize, oh, all the dots were connected. That when we're going through something, we don't understand at the time that it's actually getting us somewhere. It's like the saying in personal development of, if you start looking at the fact that life is happening for you and not to you, you start to change your way. Yeah, even that the shit is actually there to serve you ultimately. And one day, if you are open minded to it and you look for the lessons and you keep moving forward no matter what, it will become apparent to you. And in my own life, I've experienced that over and over again, so that I know that it's true. And but yeah, I do just love helping people with all of this. It's very satisfying and obviously quite necessary.
Well, I've enjoyed our little chat.
Thanks, darling. I've enjoyed it too. It's always great
So,
chatting with you.
same time next week.
Yes.